What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions. I am Tyrone, that guy with the awesome Hulk Adidas. Show everybody, that is Devin with the Adidas hoodie. Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys miss us. We are back with another episode here, and what we're going to be talking about today for the first segment is Without Remorse.
On your feet.
Senior Chief John Kelly is more dangerous and effective than any man we have in the field. The only thing he has more than kills are medals.
Now, before we get into talking about Without Remorse, we have a new segment that we're going to be introducing on this channel, and it is called the Kobe Coin. Each week, we are going to be selecting a good movie and a bad movie, and we're going to flip the coin and let the holy one up there select
just fate
that decide what we're going to be watching. Okay, so if I show you the coin right now, see, got number 24 for the God Kobe, number 8 for the God Kobe. All right, and either side is going to have a good or bad movie. And for this week coming up, we are going to have the selections of. It's going to be Marvel selection. It's going to be Howard the Duck or Blade. So you guys know which one's the good one and which one's the bad one. So at the end of the show, we will be flipping that, and I'm going to call it right now. We're going to say that 24 is Blade, 8 is going to be Howard the Duck, all right?
Howard the Duck.
So stay tuned to the end of the show for that. Let's talk about Without Remorse. So, Without Remorse came out on Amazon Prime. It stars Michael B. Jordan, and quite frankly, it only stars Michael B. Jordan. Okay, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, this is 100% a Michael B. Jordan vehicle. Like, there's really no other reason. I don't think that anyone else would watch this movie, unless maybe you just really like, military movies or something like that. But this is, like you said, this is all Michael B. Jordan all day.
Of course, Michael B. Jordan is a man that we've known from Creed, from Black Panther, from Fruitvale Station, one of my favorite movies. Very sad movie, but very near and dear to my heart. And of course, Michael B. Jordan is a person who works out, and it shows. Okay, in this movie.
Right, there are a lot of glamour shots of Michael B. Jordan without his shirt on.
Makes me jealous.
In the movie, the movie bends over backwards to put Michael B. Jordan in water. Like, it's always raining, or he's splashing water on his chest, or he's jumping in the ocean, or he's swimming in a pool. It's like Michael B. Jordan plus water equals Without Remorse. That is crazy.
Now this story comes from Tom Clancy's famous Tom Clancy world, from the books and the games. I grew up playing some of the best Tom Clancy games. Rainbow Six, one of my favorites is Vegas, and Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell is definitely one of my favorite games.
That's my favorite. That's to me, that's the only Tom Clancy game. Like I loved, and I used loved Splinter Cell, because I feel like Splinter Cell might be over, but we'll see. I love the series. The series is awesome.
Now this story follows John Kelly, which was previously played by William Dafoe, I believe. And John Kelly is a guy who's in the military, special ops, freaking Navy SEALs, tough guy. And in this story that was written by Tom Clancy a long time ago, his wife is killed. And exactly what you said in The Crow happened here.
Yeah, so the movie. Okay, so just to back up, just a touch. Yeah, John Kelly is like a military guy. He's kind of the opposite of Jack Ryan, where Jack Ryan's a writer and he has to learn to become this badass. John Kelly is already the badass. As a matter of fact, they even say, "Oh, are you the Joker of the group?" And he's like, "No, he's the badass of the group."
You a comedian, is that it?
No. He's just a bit of a smartass. No, that's not right. I'm the smartass.
Yeah, he's more of a badass.
So he's the badass. And yep, you're right. 15 minutes into the film, we get John Kelly's motivation, which is that his wife and child are immediately fridged. They are shot to death in their bed, and this is the motivation for him to go on his espionage killing spree.
Yeah, he the way that I can say when the way that scene is set up, is they cut off the power. He's listening to music downstairs. She's upstairs sleeping. And he's like, oh, man, my laptop's not working. So he gets up out of that, and he finds a gun. He creeps through the house. And he's taking everybody out.
But there's a little tension even before that, because the movie doesn't explicitly tell you that this is going to happen. What we see is we just see different scenes of people from his old group, his old army buddies getting killed. Right, they either get hit by cars, they get shot, all this stuff. So we know that John Kelly's next, and then the power goes out, things like that, and you're like, oh, it's time.
But my thing is all right. So I can't remember if when the military dudes came into the room and they shot up the bed first, to where she couldn't hear the shots happening from him. Because everyone else had silencers. I can't remember if that was the case. If that was the case, that was a writing flaw in my mind.
Oh, because you feel like she should have woken up.
If she heard his shots first. But I don't think so.
Well, I think she got shot first. I think the wife and child, because she was pregnant with the child, I think she got shot first. The first shots went into her.
Yeah.
But John Kelly was already suspicious at that point, and he was already starting to creep around. But yeah, I think before the real shooting started, she was dead.
Now, in this movie, after all of this stuff happens, he's like, I'm gonna find these guys. I'm gonna hunt them down. I'm gonna kill them. Now, these guys are from Russia, okay? Apparently, because the first mission that you see in the beginning of the movie, they're supposed to be coming in there, and they're supposed to be in Syria, I believe, and then the guy that was head of the whole mission, played by Jamie Bell.
Which is the cool reunion for Fantastic Four.
Exactly.
Because Jamie Bell played The Thing, Michael B. Jordan played Human Torch.
He lied, and they were actually in Russia to take out by the end of the story, you'll know why they were in Russia, which is freaking stupid. But
so like you said earlier, this whole movie really is a Michael B. Jordan vehicle. But it's a Michael B. Jordan vehicle, but it's also kind of a Michael B. Jordan and a little bit of Jamie Bell vehicle, because it's the whole thing hinges on their relationship, and you're not really 100% sure if you can trust Jamie Bell or if maybe he's a villain. And so a little bit of real world backstory. From what I understand, like we just mentioned earlier, both Jamie Bell and Michael B. Jordan were in Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four, the 2015 version, was absolutely atrocious. It was bad. But because it was bad, it was so bad. Because it was bad and the production was so troubled, apparently the cast got really close. Jamie Bell and Kate Mara got married, and I think all three of them became pretty good friends. Okay. So it's nice to see that they still have some chemistry back and forth, even in this film. You can tell that they have a rapport, that they've worked together and stuff like that. So I think that was a really, really good addition, and it's really nice to see them in what I think is a better film than Fantastic Four.
Yeah, the Fantastic Four is the bottom of the barrel crap bucket, but
yeah, it's a bad movie. Yeah.
But one would say there's. Let me shut up. Anyway, I was gonna say it's
no, don't cut it off now. One would say that
one would say that it's down there, in my opinion. Of I'm gonna rustle some feathers here. Our last reaction came out of Mortal Kombat, and I hated that movie, and I think that it's down there with that. Okay.
It's very similar. I don't want to get on like a whole Fantastic Four talk, but it is very similar in that they tried to do something interesting in Fantastic Four, and it just blew up right in their faces in the worst way possible. Because yeah, that movie's atrocious, just like Mortal Kombat. But anyway, let's talk about this movie, Without Remorse. You were talking about Jamie Bell. He's the leader, or he was leading the mission, and they're in Syria, and there's some Russian stuff.
He lied, and it was for propaganda for the U.S. government. Now, a slime ball of a character of the senator comes in by the name of, I forget his name, but it was played by Guy Pearce. And from the moment this guy walks on scene, I'm like,
yeah, you're like,
he's the villain. This guy's clearly the villain because he's letting Michael B. Jordan. After Michael B. Jordan does something to get the information of who was the last guy that escaped from his house, he got arrested, and that's when the whole water crap happened, and he was fighting the dudes that came in there, and
one of many water things.
Yeah, yes. And the commander, she is the I forget her name, but she is the wife of Joshua Jackson, and she was also Slim. Queen is Slim.
Yeah, great actress. She plays. I think she plays a really good badass too, because I think she probably is. She had more to do, which is a weird thing to say because this is a Michael B. Jordan film, but she had more to do in this film than Michael B. Jordan, especially like acting wise. So I think she might have showed him up a little bit. But anyway,
but she gets him out of jail, and they run it because he got the information from the guy in the car that was set on fire that you guys probably saw in the trailer, that the car's on fire. Really cool effect. And Michael B. Jordan's like, he's not gonna get the information until he gets me out of here. And then he gets him out of there, and he gets the information, and he lets him go on this mission with the commander. And I'm like, he's setting him up. It is clear. It's clear as day.
Right. It couldn't be more clear that Guy Pearce is the bad guy. And yeah, that is one of the reasons why I found the movie to be a little bit slower than I think it intended to be, because we knew he's the bad guy, and so now we're just waiting for the movie to tell us that he's the bad guy. So a lot of scenes you're just like, okay, go ahead, reveal yourself as the bad guy. I get it. We get it. And we see his office in one scene, which I thought was really funny because I like to like look around the scene and see like what kind of things they place in the shot. And in his office, he's got these he's got two big balls in his office. And they kept framing the shot where the big balls were like right next to his face. I'm like, okay, I guess he's ballsy. Okay, fine. He's got like these like brass balls. It's so funny.
Yeah. With him sending him overseas to find and capture this guy, that the name that Michael B. Jordan got from the guy that was burning up in the car. You all know that Michael B. Jordan is a loose cannon. Okay, he's willing to do anything. He's already an enemy of the state or the country, and when he gets back to the United States, he's already going to be a felon. So he's like, I got nothing to lose. My family's gone, and you guys want to bring this guy in because he's supposed to be a ghost. You want to bring him in for standing trial, and he's like, I want to kill him. And then the whole thing opens up right then and there of it was all a pawn, and the reasoning that. When we get to the end and we find out that Guy Pearce is the guy in charge, his reasoning was stupid. And it sounds exactly like what America would do.
Well, like, so the movie, to me, I found the movie to be like kind of middling, mostly because, like you said, like there's a lot of big reveals that we knew the big reveals were coming, and so I don't know, it felt like I was like waiting for things a lot in the film. So. But that being said, the movie's not bad. It's like very in the middle. And because the movie mostly hinges on Michael B. Jordan's performance. Michael B. Jordan, unfortunately, he's kind of stuck playing a very stoic character. Like this character does not really smile. He does not really laugh. He's kind of silent. He doesn't really say much. And that is cool in real life, but a little dull
on
like,
camera.
on
Yeah.
the screen. Yeah, that's why I think the other woman kind of showed him up, because she was able to show a lot more humanity than Michael B. Jordan's character. Not to say Michael B. Jordan didn't do well. I think he did as well as he could with this role, because his character of John Kelly is just as bland as that name, John Kelly. He's just like he's just a badass who does cool things and is never really in any danger. And we just kind of follow him around. Now, you mentioned the word pawn, and I'm glad you mentioned that earlier, because there is a chess theme in this movie that they kept saying over and over again, which I thought
And
was
depicted
funny.
in the beginning,
So early,
when he was at the party.
Yep, exactly. Yep, at the party, early on, before his wife gets killed, they have a little party, a little get together, because he's retired from the military or whatever, and he is walking through the party trying to get his wife, who's pregnant wife, a glass of water, and he walks by two people playing a game of chess. And he interrupts the game quietly in his own way, because he's a very quiet guy, by just reaching down and moving the pieces himself, right? And a character smiles, because I'm assuming his move was good, and it's like, okay, he's smart, he's a chess player, got it. But then that comes back later, where they're like, I'm a pawn going after a king. And then later on, after that, he's like, I thought I was a pawn going after a king, but it turns out I was just a pawn going after another pawn, and the real king is. I'm like, this chess thing is lame. I'm like, get off the chess thing.
I thought I was a pawn hunting a king. Rykov wasn't a king. He was just me on the other side. Pawns can never kill a king.
Pawns and kings.
Pawns, kings.
Kings and pawns.
Where's the bishop? And the
Yeah,
knight.
exactly.
Is he gonna come
You
around?
took my rook. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man.
I'm the pawn,
So-
but unfortunately my queen is dead.
Exactly.
It's like, oh my
Crap
god.
like that, man. It's ridiculous. And the guy who we're referring to as the other pawn is I forgot the name that he gave the guy, but he was the guy that was the name that was given from the guy that was in the car that he burned up that he shot.
Right. So he spends at least half this movie chasing after one guy.
Yeah.
And because early on he's like, I just need one name, so I can get my revenge. So he gets the name, and we find the guy. He finds the guy, and the guy immediately, kills himself. Like, boom. And so you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He has like a
C4 vest.
He has a bomb vest and all that. And so this guy was built up to be like the ultimate bad guy, but he kills himself halfway through the film, and you're like, oh, well, okay, I guess there's some bigger players. But that whole sequence, even though like I feel like we're kind of
we're
jabbing at the sequence. The whole sequence, the sequence is good though. Like the movie has some pretty good sequences, because in that sequence, the guy blows himself up, which is a big twist. Then he and his whole company, they're stuck in this building, while there's a sniper across the street. So all of that is pretty riveting, and it's pretty interesting to see them like move through the building, and one person in their company gets shot, and so they got to rescue this guy. It's a whole to do, and it's pretty good. It's a pretty good little sequence. And there's another sequence. Gosh, I can't remember if it came before or after, which is probably bad, because that's kind of the reason why this movie's kind of generic. But I think it came before, where they were in a plane and the plane crashed in the ocean that way. Okay, yeah, they're in a plane. The plane crashed. I think this was the movie's best sequence. This is honestly where I woke up. The plane, they were in a plane. The plane crashed in the ocean, and everyone had to escape this crashing plane. But John Kelly had to go back down into the water to get his stuff out of the plane, and that whole sequence was very cool.
Stuff out of the plane,
oh my god!
Because they had a boat.
Yeah.
Inflatable boat they had to get up.
And so all of that was very cool. And the movie kind of has these set pieces that John Kelly moves from, and each set piece in itself is cool, but they don't really move things forward or show anything new about John Kelly, really.
It just seems like another
cool
obstacle that he needs to get past to get to his...
Right, exactly. That's all it is. It's just another obstacle, and it's another showcase of Michael B. Jordan underwater. Because to be fair, Michael B. Jordan is underwater. He's actually doing some of this stuff. He's actually swimming. The camera does it's got these cool close-ups of his face, so we can see it's Michael B. Jordan under the water, swimming around, doing this like super athletic stuff. So all that's cool, but it doesn't. The action, it's not quite like I don't know. It's not like like John Wick or something, where we learn something new through the action or something like that. It's just like a set piece.
Yeah.
You know?
What they all realize is that they're there to stifle tension between they're basically the fall guys to produce a war between Russia and United States.
Right, and we don't know this until
later in the film. But Michael B. Jordan they had like these inklings. Like the whole crew had this idea that that's what they were there for, and there was like if we shoot down across from them, they're actually shooting at the police to make it seem like we're doing that. And it was just all bunch of clusterfuck of information that they all just kind of just threw at the screen, and I had to piece it together like a puzzle. I'm like, oh, okay, until the actual end moment where well, not to the end moment yet. When they got on the boat after Michael B. Jordan basically, I don't know how he survived this. His character survived this, where he comes down the stairs and there's bullets going at this man tremendously. He's like freaking a superhero or something, where he goes upstairs, comes back downstairs, and he has like this uniform. He uses people as a shield. He gets shot in the arm. His arm is all, dead weight. And he comes over here, he uses this bomb, and he attaches the bomb to a whole vest of bombs, throws it in the middle of the freaking hotel or wherever they're in, and everything blows up and collapses. And he puts on the outfit, which reminds me of Leon, the Punisher, where he puts on the outfit of the rioter and escapes. But in Leon, we know he didn't escape. He, we know that. Yeah, and then he gets on this boat, and Jamie Bell is right there, and he's like, you didn't have anything to do with that because you was getting shot at too.
Right.
And
so like you said, the whole movie is the kings are using these pawns to start a war between the U.S. and Russia, but John Kelly won't die. That's really the big issue, right? They tried to kill him in his house early on. He didn't die. They tried to shoot down his plane. He wouldn't die. They tried to blow him up in Russia. He wouldn't die. So because he couldn't die, or they couldn't kill him, he ultimately figured out what the big game was.
Yeah, ultimately finds that out. He finds Guy Pearce in like a restroom of this fancy restaurant, and he's like, "Oh, John, I thought you died." And he's like, yeah, all this stuff. And he said something about the C4 being strapped to the guy that he knew. And he was like, and then Guy Pearce said something to that. And he's like, but how would you know that if you weren't there or something like that?
Right. Because
it wasn't written in the report. And they got into this little scuffle, and he chokes him out, and he gets into this car. And the whole thing about the movie, that he said he's gonna find the guy who killed his wife, and he's gonna make him say her name, Right. And he's in the car, and he has it taped. He has it taped, everything that Guy Pearce is saying, and he's like, America needs an enemy. America is fighting each other over stupid things, whatever, on land. So we need to sacrifice these soldiers to bring an enemy. And I'm like, that is so horrible. And I think that actually happens. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He wanted to unite the left and the right together against Russia, so that the left and the right will stop fighting each other and they'll have a common enemy. And then he also mentioned that in World War II is what took the United States out of the Great Depression. So he's like, the economy boomed under war, so he wanted to stoke this war between the United States and Russia in order to boost the economy and bring peace domestically.
And that's just stupid to me, because more war just begets more war in my mind. It's just you start one war, then someone else gets mad because of that war, and then these people that was allies with the people that you killed, they want to come after you too. It's stupid. Right.
And I think the movie was saying that John Kelly would agree with you, that's stupid, and he seemed to become a little weary of the military after all of that, because he thought he was like, really helping, but really he was, again, to go to this chess thing, he was just a pawn in some bigger guys' games. And what's funny about all that is, back to the water thing, he crashes the car into the water, and the water's filling up in the car, and Michael B. Jordan's like, say my wife's name, say my wife's name.
Pam!
Pam! Right.
And then he's satisfied.
Yeah.
And then the commander comes out of nowhere and saves him.
Right.
After he has like this montage of flashback,
Right. It's insinuated that this was all planned by them, because she's under the water already.
Yeah.
She's got scuba gear and all that stuff. So I'm assuming that they talked this through or something.
Yeah.
But one thing about this film that I was curious about what you thought about it is, I thought this film felt kind of like a throwback. I really didn't think they made I didn't think they made movies like this anymore. Like, this feels very like 2002 Black Hawk Down, just after 9/11 type military thing. It's been a long time since I've seen a movie like this, and it makes me wonder if there is an audience for this anymore, or if maybe the audience for this is bigger now, since military games are like military video games are huge now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just kind of dawned on me halfway through that I hadn't seen this type of movie in a very long time. That's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. It's just an observation. Did you feel similar?
I feel the same way, because if you look at like some of the games that's out right now, you got Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, you have Rainbow Six Siege, which is a Tom Clancy game, and some other undertone ones like Ghost Recon, still Tom Clancy, Wildlands, and Breakpoint. You would think that it would have a need and a hunger for this in the type of movie form. And you're right. I haven't seen anything like this since then, or even close to what the 13th Hour was with was a John, with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. These type of movies feel a little dated.
You would think that it would be in show form like Jack Ryan.
Yeah, you would think so, but no. These kind of movies kind of like went away for a while. So I don't know if this means they're gonna come back or not. If they do come back, to be blunt, it won't be because of this movie, because this movie was just kind of middle of the road. It wasn't bad, or it's fine. Like, it's not quite as bad as Turn It On While You Vacuum the Floor bad, but it is, it's like
What? Turn on while you vacuum
yeah,
the floor, man. Wow.
Yeah, you vacuum the floor, there's a movie in the background or something.
We must be our parents. We got to be our parents.
We're getting old, boy. But this isn't quite that bad. This isn't quite that bad. It's a little better than that. And to me, I think it's mostly because of the action set pieces and all that good stuff. Did you catch the after credit scene?
That was the after credit scene?
Oh yeah, I was surprised too. I just happened to leave it on. I was like, let me get some coffee. I just happened to leave it on, and the movie kept going. I was like, oh, there's more.
This is the first, everyone. I thought it was done after the credit when he looked at his new identity and it says John Clark, and that's the actual name of the guy who started Rainbow Six.
There's an after credit scene, and the after credit scene is him and Jamie Bell. Jamie Bell is like, hello, John Clark, instead of John Kelly. And John Clark is like, I've got this new idea. I'm not really happy. I've been thinking about what happened with our mission. I'm not really happy with how it was run. So I want to lead a team, and it's going to be an international team of people from all over the world, people from Russia, people from the U.S., people who are on the left, people on the right. I want to have a rainbow of people to make up this team. And he says, I want to call it Rainbow. And Jamie Bell is like, why Rainbow? And he says, it's personal. I'm like, you just explained why it was called Rainbow. I don't know why he said it was personal. But anyway, yeah. So that all of that is to insinuate that John Clark creates Rainbow Six, which is a game and also a book by Tom Clancy. So, maybe they're trying to start some sort of Tom Clancy cinematic universe or something.
Probably.
Which again made me think like, oh, maybe this is going to be a thing moving forward. Maybe they're going to try and do more of these like military type of movies.
I mean, it all depends on the success of this, and especially because Michael B. Jordan produced this film. If he wants to put more money into it, and it seems like he does, especially with what you just described with the after credit scene, and that after credit scene just describes what I already knew because of me being a fan.
Yeah, it did.
You know.
Yep.
So I didn't really miss much.
No, you didn't miss much. It was a quick scene. It's just two guys standing there looking at shoot, I forgot which the Washington Monument. That's what it was. They were just looking at the Washington Monument. You didn't miss much.
So I'm gonna give this movie because of the action that it was, because of it's good to see a black man in a leading role. Michael B. Jordan doing his thing. And I liked Queen and Slim. What's her name?
Yeah, I can't remember her name. Sorry.
I know her, as Joshua Jackson's wife from Mighty Ducks. But I'm gonna give this movie a 5.5 out of 10, man.
Oh, 5.5. Okay, that's exactly what I was gonna give it. Wow. All right, great. I'm so glad we see eye to eye here. I thought the movie was a little cliched, a little stereotypical, very safe. Like you said earlier, they fridged the woman immediately. So I'm like, okay. And there's a million military cliches that they all run through. I think this movie thinks it's cooler than it is, which kind of makes it kind of lame. But I'm totally with you. It's like middling right down the road. 5.5 is exactly what I was going to give it. I do have a problem with whether or not I can recommend it, though, because there's nothing wrong with this film, but I am not sure if any of my friends want to see a military type of movie like this. Because when you think of a military movie, you think of like Black Hawk Down and stuff like that, and that movie's better. So I'm not sure if I can recommend this, because it's a little slow, it's a little middling. So I guess I'll
think
say
you can recommend it.
Go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think you can recommend it off the sheer thought of possibility. The fact that you give it a 5.5, that extra 0.5, give it a little boost to saying that it's possible something can come from this.
Yeah, and that is why I gave it the 0.5. I wanted to give it a 5, but I'm like, Michael B. Jordan is good, and he is good in this, and you could tell that he put a lot of himself in this, because he is doing a lot of the action. He did produce this thing. He did lead this thing. So this feels a little bit like a passion project to me for Michael B. Jordan, and usually passion projects are terrible, and this one's fine. So I'm like, yeah, I agree. That extra 0.5, maybe the 0.5 is like, wait and see. Maybe there's still, if this becomes a series or this becomes a pattern or something, maybe there'll be, you will want to revisit this. But as of today, I'll be blunt. As of today, no. As of right now, I can't recommend it, only because there are better things to watch on Amazon Prime. There's better things to watch on Netflix. So I would probably recommend something else other than this. But it's not a bad movie. It's fine. It's a good movie.
Yeah. See it at your own leisure, people.
Yeah, exactly. Catch it whenever you can.
Exactly. If you want to watch Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, you watch that. Or Face the Music, you watch that if you want to. If you want to watch John Wick, I know I'm saying Keanu Reeves movies. If you want to watch John Wick, watch that, and then get to this if you want to. Or the Matrix.
Unless you just really love Michael B. Jordan and you just want to see Michael B. Jordan with the shirt off in the water, then go run and see this movie, because that's really the showcase of this.
You know what I'm saying?
Some people might. I don't know. Some people might want to see that.
Nobody wants that. You know what I'm saying? Gee.
I'm not gonna say nobody wants that. There's a lot of people that want that. Clearly.
It ain't like I'm hating.
I'm pretty sure. I'm sure they had some research that was like, look, the more we put this man in water, the more views we get. So they kept dunking him in the water. So.
That's funny. Well, that's our review for Tom Clancy's Without Remorse.
They're gonna play by my rules now. No remorse.
Cause I'm sucker for
Just a quick reminder for everyone. At the end of this episode, we will be doing our new segment, the Kobe Coin. Okay. Where we pick two films. One is a good film, one is a bad film, and we just let fate decide which one we're going to be reviewing on our next episode. So stay tuned at the end of this episode to find out what we're going to be watching and what you guys are going to be witnessing us review. All right?
It's going to be Marvel themed, so it's going to be one of the greatest Marvel movies ever, Blade versus Howard the Duck.
Quack, quack, baby. But yeah, the next thing we're talking about today is a animated movie that's on Netflix right now, and I think as of today is actually number 3 in the United States. It is The Mitchells versus the Machines.
We're the Mitchells, the only people who can save the world. I'm super sorry, everyone. Let me introduce myself. I'm Katie. I'm sort of a weirdo. My parents haven't figured me out yet. To be fair, it took me a while to figure myself out.
The Mitchells versus the Machines is Sony Animation, and it's coming up on the heels of I guess it's about 3 years, 4 years of 3 years of their Oscar-winning film, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And watching this film, you can definitely see. You can definitely see some of the influences there,
especially like with the art style. The art style is it's very similar. This it's not the same, but it's very similar. And that to me is the big standout for this film is the animation. It looks 2D, but it's clearly 3D. But it also kind of looks claymation. It looks a little bit of everything. Like it's a very unique art style, and I was digging the art style.
Yeah, I see that Sony is really trying to fight Pixar. They trying to fight them, okay? When it comes to what how many eyes can we have coming to our animation studio to watch our products? Because they feel like they the big people on campus since they won an award with Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if they're gonna fight Pixar,
they got a lot more to come to bring.
They got a lot of work to do.
Pixar has been running the game for almost 20 years. So
yeah, for real. And they don't look like they're slowing down anytime soon.
Wait, man, it's way past 20 years. It's 1995. It's like 25 years.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's forever.
So with this movie, you find a family, I wouldn't say normal because they're not normal.
Yeah, they seem to think that they are a dysfunctional family.
Yeah, you think they're a dysfunctional family. And you have a girl who's getting ready to go off to college. She is so interested in film and being a filmmaker, and she just loves everything about film. And then you have her little brother who, I forgot who voices him, but the kid doesn't sound, I mean, he's voiced by an adult. But
yeah, and he sounds
like an adult.
Uh-oh, Monty coming at ya.
Katie, you can't resist me, girl.
Okay. And it's like his actions are like an adult. And he loves dinosaurs. And got the mom played by Maya Rudolph. And she's just like the mom who takes care of her kids. Is just normal. That is her life.
But she's envious of the neighbors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fly formation.
The neighbors, the father in the neighbors is voiced by John Legend.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And her father, Kate's father, is voiced by Danny McBride, and he hates technology.
Right. He's like an outdoorsy type of guy who's not into technology. He doesn't really like movies. He seems to be the exact opposite of his daughter.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. And all his daughter wants to do is just get away from her family, get to people who know her, because ever since she was a kid, she felt like an outcast, and no one understood who she was except for these these film geeks and stuff, especially when she got accepted to the film school in LA. So she's like, I can't wait to get out of here. And her father's like, I want to keep my baby close to me. And he pulls up this video of them singing Live Your Life. Hey.
Oh my God. I was so annoyed with that. I was like, oh, and you know what's even worse? Yeah. What's even worse is I woke up this morning with that song stuck in my head. And I was like, no.
You was up there fixing stuff. Damn.
Yeah, exactly. But as you said, Kate's going off to college, and the dad doesn't want her to go, but she's already got her plane ticket to go. Cause I think they live in Michigan, and she's gonna fly to California to go to college. But the inciting event is the dad cancels the plane ticket and decides to take a family road trip to take her to college all the way.
That is rude as hell. Okay.
Yeah, that is very rude.
To high heaven. If my parents say, hey, man, we're taking a road trip. No!
You're right. And this was the day that she was supposed to get on the plane. So she had plans to do for that night to be with her friends and all that stuff. But he canceled the plane ticket, and everyone piled everybody in the car, and they drove off west.
But there is a media expo where there's like the inventor of these smartphones guy who's played by Eric Andre, and PAL phones. They're supposed to be able to be your best assistants and do everything for you and stuff like that. But Eric Andre's character, I think his name is Mark, he disrespects the phone. The phone has AI to where it has feelings. You know what I'm saying? And he I forgot what he says, but he just disrespects and just throws in the trash. And he's like, we got you new robots that can do everything.
Right. But even more than that, he designed the new robot on the phone. Yeah. And so the phone felt dissed.
Yep. So the robot just said, the phone was just like, you know what? I'm gonna take over all of your bots and download into each one of them and take over the world, because humans don't appreciate technology, so which we really don't. So this happens right when the Mitchells are getting ready to come to a pit stop at this dinosaur place that the boy just wanted to go to so badly, and it goes down. Shit hits the fan right then and there.
Well, what's interesting though about leading up to that point is, we are led to believe that this family is dysfunctional, that Kate, the little girl, or the college girl, and the dad don't like each other, but apparently on the road trip they get along. It seems like the road trip actually does begin to mend fences and bring them back together. So at this point in the film, just before the robot uprising, I could see humongous parallels between this movie and one of my favorite movies, and that is A Goofy Movie.
Of course, man. Man, don't get me started on that, boy.
That's right.
I love
it. It is. So this movie and A Goofy Movie, I feel like the guy who wrote this film, whose name I can't think of right now, but the guy who wrote this film clearly saw A Goofy Movie and used that kind of as his template.
This isn't just my vacation. It's a vacation with me and my best buddy.
Oh, Donald Duck?
No, silly. With you.
We called the school. You can miss orientation week. No problem.
But it is a problem. I've got all these friends to meet. There's this really cool girl, Jade.
Even the car that they're driving in is very similar to the car that Goofy drives in. When they're driving on the road, there's a song in A Goofy Movie where he's like, it's called On the Open Road. And he even says the phrase, we're out on the open road. So I'm like, okay, is this on purpose? Because it's very similar.
And it comes with 1 coupon for a father-daughter stick shift lesson, right? Yeah!
It's been handed down from goof to goof to goof. And now, it's yours, son.
A stick?
No, silly. A fishing pole.
a Goofy movie has a sequence with a fishing pole, the one that you were just singing earlier, and she uses the fishing pole to like fight with. The Goofy movies was something called the perfect cast, which is something that the dad does that the son has to learn in order to look cool, or like, you know, to overcome some
to save his dad.
In this movie, yeah, exactly. In this movie, same thing. She's got to use, what is it called, the Mitchell
shift or something with the driving.
Yeah, something like that.
Dad, you're gonna have to do the Rick Mitchell special.
Now, Katie, repeat after me. You have to go up the mountain.
Up the mountain.
Across the street.
Across the street.
Down the river.
Down the river.
The perfect cast.
The perfect what?
10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, quarter to 3, tours you pay, twist, over, pot of do, I'm a little teapot, and the wind up and let her fly. The perfect cast.
Yeah, she's gotta learn the Mitchell shift or whatever it is to save her dad. So I'm like, this movie is very similar to Goofy.
When it comes to those aspects, yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, and we're about to get to, there's a humongous shift when the robot uprising happens in the middle of the film, which is like a crazy twist, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah. At that point, when that happens, all the stuff hits the fan at the dinosaur, the horrible dinosaur park that it was, run down and everything. There was a funny thing that happened with the two robots that got hurt. They end up turning, they're malfunctioned, and like all the people that's in the store except for the Mitchells, of course, they've been abducted and put into these hexagon cubes, and they're flying off into the where the PAL, the little female phone, has them all in the little pods and stacking them up. But those two are left behind, and they're malfunctioning, and they're acting like stupid idiots, and they get controlled very easily. A dinosaur lands
on both of those robots, and yeah, they have like a big glitch, a big malfunction.
Yeah, and I just I enjoyed that, and at that moment, she said something to be able to, because the little brother came up on the roof and talked to him and basically says to Kate, you know, meet him halfway, you know, try to understand where dad's coming from and stuff like that. And she's like, did mom tell you to say that? And he's like, no. Well, yeah.
Right.
And she and the mom is downstairs telling the father the same thing. Can you please meet Kate at the halfway point on these issues? And they both come together, and they figure out where to put a kill code into like the system to shut down PAL, to shut down the whole system, and they have to drive 80 miles away to a mall to be able to do so. And you can definitely see them working together around that time, like getting there. They use her idea to camouflage the car, and which was funny. I was like, the robots can't see that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just
it's a cartoon.
It's a tarp that's over the car that looks like the road. But whatever. And it was the wrong time to teach her how to drive stick. Boy.
Right, but see, the stick thing was the Mitchell move or whatever we were talking about earlier.
Was the Mitchell move.
Yeah, so we all knew that was going to come back later.
And some of the coolest animation happened in that mall when they got there, man. The Furbies.
Oh, yeah. They had a big Furby thing.
Yeah.
But see, like, the thing with the mall, though, that I didn't like was it really showed off a lot of the, like, branding in the film. This film's got a lot of, like, brands that they really want to show and, like, put in your face. Like you said, this movie's made by Sony, so there's a lot of Sony products that are just, like, right up front. The labels are, like, right in your face. Yep. And, there's a whole sequence with Furbies, and I'm like, all right, okay. So I guess they got a thing with Mattel or something. I don't know. But, yeah, it doesn't hurt the scene, but you can definitely... all the brand names definitely are, like, hitting you in the face.
Yeah. Those are a good scene. Of course, the upload wasn't able to happen. You know, if the upload happened, that'd be the end of the movie right then and there. You still have like 30 minutes of movie left to go. And so the one character in this movie, the dog.
Oh yeah, the dog.
The dog was a cockeyed and stuff like this.
Right. No, his eyes weren't together. They were like this. They were.
The robots were having a hard time. The robots that are on their side, they were having a hard time of figuring out what it was. And it's a dog, pig, dog, and they had like this stupid malfunction.
Yeah, they were like dog, pig, dog, pig, dog, pig.
Bread loaf? Because the dog didn't really just move or anything like that. It just licked people and stuff. And it was licking. It was so disgusting. It was licking like water and it had a fly on its eye. Ugh.
It's really funny.
It's crazy, man. But of course, in that moment, like everything electronic in the mall was attacking them.
Because they're all smart objects that were being operated by
PAL. They had PAL chips in there because she found out where they were, and there was a funny thing that it was hilarious to me. Like when they found out who the Mitchells were and stuff like that, and they had the creator Mark, played by Eric Andre. They had him up there, and she said that I'm gonna save them in a pod that's next to you. And they dragged him away, and that one robot that was in the side of the screen, he was like...
Well, we have their location. And when they get there, we'll be ready.
Did you see that guy? He was like, oh.
I did. It was funny.
They put little things in here that made me really laugh and bust out crying, man. Or not crying, but laughing. She couldn't upload the kill code, so they have to go to her and destroy her.
Right, they have to go to the PAL headquarters.
Yeah, and here where everything goes downhill. The little brother brings Kate to the side, and he says, "Wow, I didn't know you felt that way about Dad." When he was, when she was giving him encouragement and saying that we're not losers and stuff, she's like, "I didn't mean none of that stuff. I just wanted to say, I was just telling him what he wants to hear because I really want to get away from this family and never come back." PAL is recording all of this without their knowledge, with every camera that's around, because she controls all the cameras. And as they're sneaking into the actual place and fortress where they're held, she played the actual footage to show to the dad that she doesn't really care about the family, saying that she just wants to get away. And I'm like,
she played the footage of Kate.
Kate saying that. I'm like, really? If it was me, if I was there and I know the situation is very dire, I'm not gonna be like, oh, she doesn't want to be here with us.
Yeah. This was my problem too, where I'm like, you guys are about to die. Maybe set this aside for a second, and just like solve the problem. But instead, the dad's like devastated and he's unable to go on, and I'm like, yeah, all right. Just set that aside. She's like a 17-year-old girl. Like, she's gonna say some sassy stuff every once in a while. It's okay. Please, just save your family.
Save your family. Save the world. That's what you're there for. There's millions and billions of people that's at risk instead of your stupid little feelings.
And that is a big, not big, but that's one of the problems in the film, where the film does bend over backwards to try and pull these emotional chords or whatever, but sometimes it feels like tone deaf, or it's like strangely placed.
It never made me feel any type of way.
Me neither. I was just, because like you said, that moment came at a really weird time. Like, there's no way he would care about that recording at that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe if they were just driving down the road or something and that recording was playing, maybe. But like at that moment, they were like in the air, falling to their death. Like, yeah, no one cares right now. So, and because he didn't care, or because he wouldn't care, I didn't care. So, like you said, it didn't make me feel anything. It just felt a little contrived.
So at that moment, everybody got snatched up except for the little brother and Kate. They were able to escape. And while the dad and the mom is getting put in pods, and she looks at this video camera that had all of her, memories growing up with her dad and everything. And she starts having this another emotional moment that I don't care about.
Yeah, I didn't feel anything either. Yeah.
And she's like, I got a plan. I'm going to make this up to you. And the boy is crying. He's like, why would you say all this stuff? And it's like, I don't know, but I'm going to make it all right. So she devised this plan to where she remembers that when the robots look at the dog, they freak out because they don't know how to compute what the hell the thing is. So she straps the dog to the front of the car.
To the front of the car.
The dog's like looking everywhere.
Right.
And so she's trying to do the stick shift and drive. And every robot that goes in front of her is like, dog, pig, loaf of bread. And they're like, they're freaking out. So she's able to maul through them and do the little trick that she had to learn to be able to jump the wave. And every time the car jumps the wave, it has like this little this frame, and it plays like this metal music. And
Across the street.
Across the street.
Down the river.
Down the river.
It says the Mitchell's stick shift thing, whatever.
Yeah, the animation I think is the star of this movie. If you watch this movie, you're almost certainly going to be watching it for the animation. That being said, though, because it's streamed on Netflix, it's not 100% clear, right? It's like, I feel like you can get a better, sharper shot like in the theater. So I feel like it kind of sucks this movie didn't get to come out in the theater, so you can really appreciate how great the animation is. And you got to watch it over streaming. That kind of sucks. But you're right. The animation is truly, it's really good. It's the star.
Yeah.
Right? But you were talking about the dad trying to upload the video or trying to play the video on YouTube, and again, YouTube brand names there, it's all over the place. But I think that is the funniest sequence of the movie.
He calls it Yoto.
Yeah, and he is completely intimidated by the computer. So the computer in his eyes looks like this monstrous thing. It's huge and scary, and it keeps asking for updates. And he's like, "Oh my god, what do I do?" And that to me was the funniest sequence. So I'm like, yeah, okay, that's like every dad looks at the computer that. Every dad.
If you're over the age of 50, I might have to throw shots at you. My stepdad, Kenneth. If you're watching this, this is you. Like he has his phone, and he sits down with his legs crossed, shaking, and he's on his phone, and he's just like, "How do I do this?" Puts on his glasses. And I'd be like, Kenneth, what's going on? He's like, how you do this? I go there with it. I'd be like, you don't have this turned on. He's like, oh, I knew that. No, you didn't. But and to be quite honest, we grew up in the age of this, on the age of technology, and we remember what payphones are and all of that. Right. But I have a strong feeling that when we get to 50, 60, some technology is gonna come out.
Oh yeah, totally. It's all cyclical. We're not gonna understand it or care and all that stuff. It's like how you talk about TikTok and you think people are dancing on it and stuff like that.
That's how I feel. I'm like, what the hell? Exactly. By the way, we do have TikTok people. Follow us on Mostly Wrong Opinions on TikTok. Yeah, that we don't get jiggy over there. No Will Smith. So
get jiggy? What the hell? See,
that's my point.
I'm like embarrassed for you.
Yeah, exactly. Mold. So back to the movie.
Get jiggy.
So here's the thing. So. Be sure to add that in there. So
oh, it's going in. It ain't going nowhere.
She saves the world. The robots are basically part of the family now. The two robots are part of the family now, and she goes off to college, and she's having a good time, and she takes this little moose thing that her dad made when she was a child with her and says, you are my people and all that fun stuff.
Yep.
And
so they have a lot of stuff that they set up, like you were talking about before, with like that gear shift thing and all that. And I couldn't help but think about a Goofy movie. But the reason why I think it worked better, or those kind of gags worked better in a Goofy movie, was because it was set up in a more layered way in a Goofy movie. Where in a Goofy movie, the perfect cast, it was like this thing that Goofy had to do that Max thought it was just the stupidest thing in the world. And he was like, why is my dad trying to teach me how to cast this fishing line, so lame, so stupid. I don't understand old people. But the thing about Max is he's getting older, and the more as he gets older, the more he sees that he's more like Goofy, and so he ends up wanting to learn the perfect cast because turns out it's like an awesome dance move too. But in the Mitchells, she just kind of.
I love that song.
Oh, me too. The whole soundtrack, awesome. But in the Mitchells though, she just kind of like happens to do the Mitchell shift thing. It didn't have the same weight. It wasn't like, oh, it's a good thing that you're getting older.
You saw it coming from a mile away. As soon as I saw it,
yeah, exactly. Yep, it felt contrived, and so there are a lot of moments in the film where they're clearly trying to build towards something, trying to build towards an emotional moment, towards a big reveal, but you can feel it coming from a million miles away, and so you're just kind of like waiting for it to happen, and that was my big criticism of the film, is that all the beats are pretty standard, and you can feel them coming, and I found myself waiting for them to happen. So the movie, to me, suffered from being a little contrived.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. By the end of the movie, the main thing that I took away from this movie is exactly what you said earlier, that the star of this film is the animation. And
yeah, totally.
I'd rather, this is going to sound, I don't know, I don't want to say that. I want a good story and great animation put together. You look at films like Soul. I love Soul because it's beautiful animation and it's good. It's a good story for me because of me being an adult. You look at Soul. Mm-hmm. Soul is really not for kids. Soul is for adults trying to find their place in life.
There are some things for kids, like they're cute little characters and things like that. But the story overall is for kids. The story overall is for adults. But I think, and I agree with you, with the Mitchells, that's not really the case. This is much more kid aimed and less adult.
Look how pretty we are. Look how we can do things with this animation style that we see that you guys like from our previous award-winning Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
And it is pretty. You can't deny that this movie is a good-looking film. It looks great. It looks good. Again, I think it would look even better, like on the Blu-ray or something like that. But it looks good.
Now, the only difference I can see when it comes to the animation style between this and Spider-Man, that they didn't do the shutter effect.
Yeah, it's not the same exact style, but you can tell it's like a cousin of the Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, they didn't the shutter thing, like the stuttery thing, they didn't quite do. And there's a whole like theme in the style that looks like Instagram filters or Snapchat filters or something like that. TikTok filters. That's another thing that obviously wasn't in Spider-Verse. But you're right. The look of the film is the big selling point. The story is less the selling point. And if you're here for a story, this story's not bad. It's not a bad story, but it's like, no, it's just a little contrived. Sometimes I found it to be a little slow. So it's not bad, but it's not the star. The star is the animation.
Right. So would I recommend this movie? Yeah, I recommend this movie for you guys to see. I recommend that, yes, kids see it. Adults see it. Cockeyed dogs, you guys can see it too. But is it above any other animation that's been put out there, like for Pixar? No. Is it close to something that DreamWorks would put out? Okay, could be. Maybe. But Pixar, but even DreamWorks have great stories put on there. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
But you look at Shrek.
There's exactly. I was gonna say it. There's a reason why people still know what Shrek is, because yes, it's silly and weird, but the story it's good and it's lasted the test of time. Yeah. This movie will not last the test of time. I can barely remember the title of this film, which by the way changed when it was with Sony. It was called Connected, really? But then now, but they wanted to, from what I understand, the writers wanted to call it The Mitchells versus the Machines, but Sony thought that was a little funky, so they changed it to Connected. But then Sony sold it to Netflix, and Netflix changed it back to the original title. the Mitchells versus the Machines, and I have the hardest time remembering the Mitchells versus the Machines. I have to like
because when I looked at that title, I thought of Alien versus the Monsters.
Well, that's funny.
Or whatever that movie where the big tall chick with the blonde hair.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I'm gonna rate this movie. I'm gonna give it a 7.
A 7? Okay. I think I would probably give this movie. I'd probably give this movie a 6. It kind of left me somewhere in the middle. It was fine. The animation's good, but not really aimed at adults. I would recommend it only just so you can see the awesome animation.
Awesome.
And the story's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just fine. You know, you've seen this movie a million times. Right. You've seen it. If you haven't seen this movie, you have. You know exactly what's gonna happen. You know exactly who's gonna save the day. You can feel all the twists coming from a million miles away, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But you could probably maybe go watch something else, like a Goofy movie. You don't have to watch this one. You can watch a better one.
Goofy movie is top notch. And the reason why I give it a 7 is because of that robot that's just that robot's funny, man. I love that robot, dude.
He did a lot for you, man.
It was just so random. Like, I'm like, I was expecting him to get dragged away, and then the robot's like, oh shit. I'm on camera.
Yeah, it's really funny.
So that's what I give for that. Now, you gave it a 6. I gave it a 7. That's our review for the Mitchells versus the Machines.
Why would someone build that?
On to our new segment that we will be doing at the end of our videos here, the Kobe coin. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this mic out of the way so I can get a good toss up, okay? I hope to God it lands on the one I want. Then we got Blade for number 24. Can you see the 24 pretty good?
Yep, I can see it. Mm-hmm.
And then we got Howard the Duck, number 8. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to flip it, and then I'm going to put it on the top of my hand, and then I'm going to reveal what was the one on top of my hand, okay? And trust me, Devin can trust me. You know me for 20 years, long ass time. And you guys can trust me that I'm not going to flip this thing back over just to be what I want it to be, all right?
Well, you're going to be on camera, so we're going to see you flip it back over. So.
All right, let's do this.
Let's do it. Yep. Okay. Let's get a good flip now. Let's get a good flip. There we go.
Kobe coin, activate.
Kobe coin.
Yep. The movie that we will be seeing next Friday alongside Angelina Jolie's movie.
Wolfman here. You've got to see the price to believe in at Gallery Furniture.
Hey, Wolfman, where's Donna now?
I'm in New York City, but I'll be back soon. Miss you.
Well, Donna's gone. I'm dealing. Like this. Floor lamp, $19. Recliners, $88. Headboard, twin, full, or queen, $20. Four-drawer chest, $39. That's Gallery Furniture, 2511 Roosevelt Highway in College Park, and 1600 Browns Bridge Road in Gainesville. And hey, ask for the Wolfman.
The movie that we will be seeing next Friday alongside Angelina Jolie's movie. Yes! Blade! Blade! Yes!
Nice. Wait, hold the coin up to the camera. Let's see it. Let's see it. There it is. 24.
Oh, God!
Oh, thank God.
I gotta see that stupid ass duck. Boy, thank you to the late great Kobe. I got this Kobe coin, and it turned out on the good side of us right now. So next week, ladies and gentlemen, we will be reviewing Those Who Want Us Dead, Angelina Jolie, and from the Kobe coin, Blade, 1998, starring Wesley Snipes. So thank you, excuse me, for clicking on this video. Do me a favor. Do all of us a favor here, which is just me and Devin. And leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought about our movies today. The Mitchells versus the Machines and Without Remorse. And I'm Tyrone. Okay, you can find me on my band's Instagram. That is Europe_ATL. And I am a gamer. Twitch.tv/Europe Nation Gaming. And please, for the love of God, follow me on my reaction channel, Europe Nation Gaming. You can find me right here on Mostly Wrong Opinions, baby.
And I am Devin. You can find me on Instagram at DevinHarris29. You can find me on TikTok under the same name, Most Wrong Opinions. And you can find me with Tyrone right here on Mostly Wrong Opinions.
Yep, and subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you stay updated with all the movies, reviews that we do here on this channel. Leave a like if you liked it. Leave a dislike if you didn't like it. Whatever it is your opinion. But just remember one thing inside your noggin. It's mostly wrong. Have a good day. Peace.